Awesome, sir.
So, Abhay, let's begin with your introduction to the panel, very brief.
Sir, sir, I am Abhay Raghav. I am from Supal district of Bihar. I have done my BTech in electronics engineering from IIT BHU. After that, I have worked as a GPU engineer at NVIDIA for over 2.5 years. And sir, in my free time, I like to read non-fiction books.
So, Abhay, I am really intrigued to know from a metro city to remote forests, from being a technocrat to a public servant serving the forests. Now, how would you be able to cope up if you get selected in the forest services?
Sir, regarding the location, sir, I myself come from a rural background. Supal is a bordering district of Bihar. It is a remote place. Then I studied in Gwalior. I did my BTech from Varanasi, and then I was working in Bangalore. So I have experience in being different kind of
So
places.
what do you think makes you suitable to enjoy the Indian Forest Service? I'm mentioning enjoying because even only if you enjoy your career, that
Yes,
you
sir.
can deliver better.
Correct, sir. Sir, when I was working in NVIDIA, I did assess my long-term career goals. And I realized that I wanted a career that provides me a more public facing role of interface with the public, diversity of roles and responsibilities. And sir, I always loved being outdoors. So a career that has a field component to it.
Good.
Indian Forest Service,
Yeah.
Indian,
But fine, very good. You are have a liking for public. So in that case, you have tried civil services also. So if you get successful in civil services, which one would you choose?
Sir, it is true that while leaving NVIDIA, I did that for civil services only, and I was not much aware of this service. But sir, last year I gave my first attempt at Indian Forest Service. After that, I talked to many people who are in this service. I visited national parks, and slowly and steadily, I have developed a liking for this service. The
Oh,
more, yes, sir.
carry on.
So the more I come to know about it, the more I like it because, sir, I think it is a unique blend of technical and administrative roles, and therefore, sir, I am aspiring to
So
join this service.
you will forego IAS even if you get it for your liking for Indian Forest Service.
So this year I have only applied for Indian Forest Services, and I think it reflects my commitment and my
All right.
inclination.
So Abhay, I have worked with NVIDIA who are making chips. Now, why so many wars are happening on rare earths?
Uh, sir, I'm sorry, sir, your voice broke in the middle.
I'm asking you why rare earth is leading to, political wars, global wars.
All right, sir. So, sir, rare earth elements are a group of 17 critical elements. They are very pivotal in most of the advanced technologies, from renewable energy components to military technologies. Also, their distribution and refining is very concentrated. For example, for some elements, 85 to 90% of processing is done solely in China. This makes the supply chain very vulnerable, and that leads to all the geopolitical tensions.
Abhay, you have two references on your table as
Okay, sir.
district forest officer. One is that there is a proposal and they need your feedback, comments, to allow mining of marble.
Okay, sir.
And there's another proposal in which the mining of rare earth is involved.
Okay, sir.
Now, which one would you clear and which one you may not clear?
Sir, as a forest officer, I have to work within the structural safeguards that have been provided by various legislations like Forest Conservation Act, Environmental Protection Act. So the process is, sir, I will set up an environmental impact assessment committee to assess the potential of both the projects and the negative impacts they might have. And
So they both of them have negative impact. But there is pressure from the government that rare earth is something which we need for which wars are happening.
sir, if I have to make a choice between these two, and Sir, my first choice will be to protect the forest. But if I have to make a choice between these two, I think given the vulnerability of the supply chain, I will choose rare earth elements.
So tell me, coming from this particular question, there are two mindsets. Which mindset would you believe in? One is to protect the forest to the core, come what may. And
Yes, sir.
the other is to be participative and inclusive and mainstreaming into the overall development of the country. Which mindset, as a forest officer, you will keep?
Sir, I think that we should not take a either or stand in
No,
such
this
kind of
should be,
cases.
I'm asking you, Abhay. What would
Yes, sir.
Abhay do? Don't involve others.
Sir, my stand is also the same that we have to balance development with environment. We have a set of structural safeguards and procedures to assess what project will lead to what and how can we mitigate that using compensatory for afforestation and things like that. So, sir, I will keep my mind open. I will assess that particular case and then I'll make the decision.
All right. Thank you, Abhay. I pass on to Mr. Jawahar.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You worked in NVIDIA.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain GPU and TPU?
Sir, GPU and TPU are graphics processing unit and tensor processing unit are both advanced semiconductor devices that specialize in parallel processing of large volume of complex data.
Okay.
Sir, these work in basically three steps. First is task decomposition. They will take a very big complex problem and break down into small parallelly executable problem. They will optimize the memory bandwidth and then they will execute them using thousands of cores that they have.
Very good. This AI based, what do you call
Yes,
it?
sir.
GPU based computers are systems that are going to be helpful in conservation of forests and wildlife.
Right, sir. I have to give an example.
Yeah.
Should I?
How it will be helpful in conservation of forests and maintenance of wildlife.
Right, sir. So, sir, technology is penetrating every aspect of life, and forestry will not be aloof from it. For
Normally when you talk, this kind of this thing can be avoided unless there is a need for it. You can straight away get
okay,
into something.
okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, for example, sir, GPUs and TPUs are the heart and soul of every data center,
Okay.
and database decision making is at the core of policy decisions,
Very
including
good.
in forestry. One example that I have, sir, there's a AI platform called Earth Ranger AI. It works on NVIDIA Jetson chips. So what it does is it integrates a network of pressure sensors, motion sensors, trap cameras that are put and radio collars that are put all around forest to give a situational awareness dashboard for the forest management. And it also helps in preventing human wildlife conflict by, for example, if there is a vulnerable area and it detects that an influx of say elephants is going to happen, it activates certain light and sound system and sends early warnings messages, activates the quick response teams and things like that, sir.
Very good. How will you take advantage of them as a forest officer?
Sir, as a forest officer, we will try to look for various problems that we have in that particular forest management setting, and we will try to integrate AI-based or IoT-based solutions. For example, in case of human-wildlife conflict, I gave the example of
Yes.
Earth Ranger AI. There
Yes.
is a thing called Trail Guard AI that uses the same thing. Basically, it has index finger sized cameras and it is used for detection of illegal logging and illegal poaching in Simlipal Tiger Reserve.
How does it work? How can it detect legal or illegal poaching?
Sir, it cannot differentiate between legal or illegal poaching, but it can tell you that certain activity is going on there. If the forest management is not aware of any such activity happening, then it is likely that it will be an illegal poaching, and then it will alert the QRT and so.
Very good. Very good. And now you are using the cameras with AI, right?
Yes.
So does it mean that very few persons will be enough to manage the entire forest?
Sir, I think that it will not mean that very few people are necessary. Suppose camera detects some disturbance, yet we have to send actual people, actual workforce has to respond. So I think it will.
Human in the loop is also very important. That is,
Yes,
that
yes,
is
human
what
in the loop
exactly you
model.
want.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes, sir.
yeah. Ultimately, the decision making, proper decision maybe can be done only by the human being, right? This is all a
AI
kind
just
of,
improves
you can,
workforce
as
management.
of now, it is more of a support system. What human cannot
Right,
do,
sir.
like kind of, you cannot individually fly and find out which the cam does it. But
Right, sir.
the remedial measures, that has to be done only by the human being.
Human.
So he may be a watcher, he may be a ranger, they go about and do it. Okay, very good. And as a geology, as a student of geology,
Yes, sir.
what is the functioning of Geological Survey of India?
Sir, Geological Survey of India uh, surveys various geological bodies within the Earth, within India's subcontinent, and assesses mineral resources, oil and natural gas resources, and it also assists gives scientific advice to mining operations. In my limited understanding, sir.
If suppose because of the war, quite a lot of geopolitical situation, like say Iran, now Hormuz been closed, straits have been closed. Quite a lot of bombing is taking place. Don't you think they are destroying valuable natural forests and they are destroying animals, wildlife, but nobody talks about it? What is your view on that?
Sir, when a war is taking place, there is an energy crisis, people are dying, then things like environmental concerns take a backseat,
Yes,
unfortunately.
yes.
Uh, People should talk about this, but unfortunately, more pressing concerns overshadow it.
Right. Yeah. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jawaharji.
Thank you.
Now, ABHAY RAGHAV, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, ABHAY, the national forest policy has been evolving since 19th century.
Yes, sir.
Can you trace how it has evolved and what is it today? How different is it from those days?
Sir, during the colonial time, the first major policy was National Forest Policy of 1894. It treated forest as a state resource, and the philosophy behind its management was a resource maximization for getting for shipbuilding, for railway sleepers, and things like that. Vast resources, vast lands of forest were cut under the guise of scientific management. That was essentially uh, silvicultural management and resource maximization. Sir, after independence in National Forest Policy 1952, forests were recognized as a national asset. Target of 33% was set. Still, sir, philosophically, they were more diverted towards national development and industrial use. And the communities were excluded from the management. The management was still very centralized. So the National Forest Policy of 1988, the current one which is under implementation, was a revolutionary change. It made forest management, firstly, it changed the philosophy from production orientation to conservation orientation. Secondly, sir, it decentralized it, providing frameworks like joint forest management to engage community.
Okay. So, which goal of the national forest policy do you think is the most important for the country today?
Sir, the target of National Forest Policy 1988 is to achieve 33% of forest and tree cover. That is the primary target. But I
Uh,
think the most important goal will be to transition forest from a state-led initiative to a community-led initiative under the Joint Forest Management mechanism.
okay. Which states are deficient in forest cover? And what plan do you have, what species in mind to restore the forest cover to 33% at least?
So the most striking states that come into my mind is my own state, Bihar. The forest cover is 8% and forest and tree cover is 10%. The situation of states like UP, Haryana is more or less the same. Sir, we need to be pragmatic because there's a lot of population pressure in these states. Most of the land is under cultivation. So rather than natural forests or plantations, I think we will have to go for things like agroforestry. And regarding the target of 33%, sir, about right now the forest and tree cover is 25.17%. And according to Ministry of Agriculture, 6% of India's land is unculturable wasteland. I think there is where we should concentrate in afforestation to improve the total cover.
Okay. Okay. So now, many forest areas, do not have internet connectivity.
Yes, sir.
And people talk of AI solutions, people talk of, as if you go there and get a signal. How will you provide internet connectivity to a forest ranger who is moving around in a densely forested area?
Sir, firstly, sir, I like to point out that for many AI systems, internet connectivity is not necessary. We can create an offline network also. But yes,
Okay.
internet connectivity does improve things. Now there is the provision. Now there is a significant development on satellite internet through Starlink and OneWeb. They can be utilized to provide internet even in the remotest corners, sir.
Okay. Okay, good. I was wanting you to tell me something about the Starlink only. Okay, good. So now, what will be your challenges, your personal challenges?
Sir, I think that, sir, as a forest officer, right? You're
Yes,
asking.
yes, yes.
Sir, I think India has a huge diversity in type of forests and therefore huge diversity in types of problems that each forest setting faces. So, sir, I think that most of the actual challenge I'll only know when I am on the field to understand it. But in general, sir, I'll try to involve community, which have community around forest has traditionally seen forest officials as a adversary rather than an ally. So that I think that will be one challenge. And secondly, sir, integrating technology on limited under the constraints of limited budget, limited resources in forestry. I think that will be second challenge for me.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you, Abhay. Over to Chairman, sir.
So, Abhay, again, a situation in which you are a forest officer in charge of very dense forests. Now, how would you, I'm talking about illegal felling of trees and smuggling. Now, can you tell me how would you know that illegal felling is happening? What would be your immediate action plan? And number three, how would you mitigate these kinds of events?
Sir, for detection, I think human intelligence and community trust are the main things. Forest dwelling communities that live inside or around the forest, they know forest much better, in much better ways, many times than even the forest officials. If we take them into confidence, we involve them into forest management through joint forest management, share the benefits of forestry to them through ecotourism, non-timber forest produce processing, then I think they will see us as an ally and help us detect any such unsolicited activities. Secondly, sir, technology can of course be used, like I mentioned, trail guard AI, drones can be used nowadays. Regarding mitigation, sir, if some forest stand has already been degraded, then I will try enrichment plantation of native species there to improve the quality of that forest, and I will implement the Indian Forest Act in letter and spirit to punish those who are engaged in any such activity.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you'll do very well, Abhay. You will certainly, by the time you go for interview, you will improvise. All the best.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks.
All the best.
Good luck, Abhay. Do well.
You may leave the screen.
Yes, sir.